beautiful people. Yes, it's Celia C again here on the video that I promised you. My name is Celia C for those who are seeing me for the first time. I promised you a story time. Yes, I'm gonna give you the story time, but please share this video, please subscribe, and please set the notification bell so that when I upload the next video, you can be among the first people to see this video. And for the people who have already subscribed, I love you so much, my friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for using your data on me. Let's just hope that these videos will make a difference in your lives or in the lives of the people that you know. Okay, fine. So today's story time, did some pink drink. Yeah, nah? Today I'm gonna give you an overall story as to how did I end up being in the gender-based violence and feminicide activism, and why am I also passionate about mental health issues. Yeah, let's start here. How I left Jehovah's Witnesses. That's where it starts. Before I tell you how I left Jehovah's Witnesses, as you're going to see, or as you have seen in the subtitle below, I'll have to give you a background, a short background of how I became a Jehovah's Witness. Actually, I was born in a Jehovah's Witness family. For me, it goes back to about 3 generations. Yes, my great-grandmother was, and my grandmother was on my mom's side, and also on my father's side. As you do know that Jehovah's Witnesses can marry only each other. They can only marry within the congregation. They don't call it church, they call it the congregation. Fine. So what happened is my mother and my father were both Jehovah's Witnesses and married each other because they were in the same congregations, even though the other one was in Paris, which is my mother, and my father was in Everton, which is in the Val. I don't know where they met, but I remember my mom said something about matchmaking. Fine. But they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were match made by another Jehovah's Witness. Fine. They married each other as Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm the oldest. So I was the firstborn of the 4. So I was the oldest one and the only girl in the family. And I have 3 brothers after me. Fine. That's how I became a Jehovah's Witness. I was born, bred, and raised in the Jehovah's Witness family. You know, there were times when I would wish that I was born in a family that is not Jehovah's Witnesses, so that I can see how I would have reacted should they have knocked at my door, because you do know that Jehovah's Witnesses do knock at people's doors and tell them about the good news of the Bible, the gospel, and everything that is in the Bible. So I always had that wish that, I wish I wasn't born in a Jehovah's Witness family, so that I can see how it feels like to have people knocking at your door. How would I have responded to them? How I would have maybe liked or disliked what they were saying to me, and have a choice if I want to be a Jehovah's Witness or not. Because, guys, being a Jehovah's Witness child is not easy at all. I'll make a few examples. I'm not going to talk a lot about that. Being a Jehovah's Witness entails not singing to hymns at school. Wow. During our times, when we were at school, there used to be assemblies. You know, you'd be picked on by the teachers sometimes asking you, why are you not singing? And you don't even know what to tell them. And I mean, like, usually at school, I had noticed that the children that have chosen to be Jehovah's Witnesses by themselves, they stood up to the teachers themselves, because this was their thing. This was like, it was their choice. They would certainly tell them that I don't sing because 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, the Bible says. But people like myself had a difficulty to answer teachers, because now you see, at home they said I shouldn't sing hymns, and the teachers would be like, what kind of a family is this? So sometimes you just stand there and not say anything, because now you are also afraid that they may think that actually you're coming from a Satanism family. Which family? I mean, among the black community in South Africa, if you are not religious, then you must be Satanism. Like, it was like just between the two, there are two options. There are no gray areas there. And to explain to someone why are we not singing the hymns, for me as a child of a Jehovah's Witness, it was the most difficult thing to do. Like, what do I say? So sometimes I would just keep quiet and let the teachers decide whether they beat me up, or they let me pick up the papers, or sometimes they just let you go. But one like, it happened many times. And I think those who were born in Jehovah's Witnesses would know what I'm talking about. Okay, fine, that's not an issue. So I was just making an example as to how difficult it is to be a child coming from a Jehovah's Witness family. And another example that I can make is, we don't get to celebrate birthdays. You don't even get to eat birthday cake if it's coming from a friend. Should you know that it's a birthday cake, no more eating that birthday cake, even if as a child you feel like but you couldn't, because now you would be told that Jehovah does not like that. Oh, sorry. And yes, there were reasons that we given, we told about why you cannot participate in birthdays, why we cannot eat food from birthdays. Is because of this, because of that. And yes, the Bible verses would be quoted, and you would understand. But as a child, it's difficult to look at the cake of someone because it looks very delicious, but just because it's for birthday, you are like, must sit there and say, no, I can't eat it, or you must make excuses now why you could not eat it. Fine. So those are two examples that I would make, but there are so many. But those are just the two that I'll talk about today. And then I grew up in that family and do everything that was done. Okay, my parents somehow separated because my father at some point decided to take another route and joined Zion Christian Church, ZCC, and that caused a serious conflict between him and my mom, and they ended up separating, which is a story for another day that I will save for another day. And then now we were left with my mom. My mom is still a stern and a very zealous Jehovah's Witness. She raised the four of us. Our father abandoned us with her, So we had to stay with mom. Fine. We carried on staying with mom. And I think when I was 19, I'd cut some of the bits and pieces. I'll make story time about in the future, because there's a lot that happened. I just want to come to this point. Okay, fine. At 19, when I was 19, then I decided I want to get baptized and be a Jehovah's Witness myself. And I got, before you get baptized, you get a Bible study. So I got a family friend to study with me, and I finished the 2 books that were supposed to be read before you can say, okay, I want to get baptized. Then I did get baptized. After being baptized, I got to be now a full Jehovah's Witness. And 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, I was Zidia's Jehovah's Witness until when I was 25. When I was 25, I met this brother. I'll make another story time as to explain how we met. But for me, it was love at first sight, even though he didn't see me that way. I think he only saw me after 4 years. Whereas from when I was 21, I liked him. And only when I was 25 that he also saw me in that light. Okay, fine. For me, it was an easy thing because already I had loved him. And okay, when I was 26, I think we dated for 1 year, 4 months. And remember, within Jehovah's Witnesses, you cannot be having sex with outside marriage. Ne? Before you get married, no sex. So we didn't engage at all. And we were like, yeah, that brother and a sister. But I really did love this guy. And when I was 26, we got married. And our wedding was beautiful, guys. It was. And that evening, we just escaped from his family. I guess we couldn't wait to be intimate. And he had arranged for honeymoon in Tsitsikama. So we went to Tsitsikama for our honeymoon. And when we got there, oh, it was nice. Then we started getting intimate. It was very nice. We spent the whole week, the whole 7 days there. Then we came back, and then life started. Okay, fine. Life was fine with this guy. He was humble. He was, oh my gosh, I loved the guy. I loved him with everything that I have. And as much as it was difficult for him to show love, or I don't know, maybe us as women, we fall in love to a point where we feel like we can even hotspot people, or we fail to be vigilant of things that we need to be vigilant of. Because really there were signs even before we married that this person may have not been into me the way I was into him. But I just disregarded, because he did everything that he was supposed to do, even though there were those signs, those telltale signs that now when I look back at them, I see that I should have known that there is some danger here. But I won't lie, he would, okay, in our marriage life, he was good, he was perfect, man. He was very close to perfect. I remember I was addicted to a show called The Oprah Show. Those who grew up around our times, they would know what The Oprah Show was. That was before he has this Oprah network. I used to watch that show like, I don't know what. I loved it. And then I remember there were words that Oprah would like to see. He would say, if something is too good to be true, it probably is. Oh gosh. And those words, each time I heard them, because like I was living with a perfect person, guys. I was living with a very perfect person. And I do know that a perfect person does not exist. The Bible even says there's no person that is perfect. But he was very, very close to perfect. He would never set a foot wrong. This guy was, and he was unbelievable. You'd swear that I'm making up stories when I tell you that he was that good. He would never swear at me, even if I could make him angry as much as I could. Believe me, he would never. He would rather just keep silent. But if he were to leave, I knew I was guaranteed a kiss. If I was the one that's mad, he would still come and kiss me, and maybe I would like remove my mouth from him, and he would still kiss me on my cheek. That was the kind of man I was married to. He is humble. He is always ready to help anyone, not just me. Being it a person in my family, being it a stranger, being it our friends, being it everyone, he was always. I think he's still like that wherever he is, because he was always ready to help someone. He was like selfless. If you say a person is selfless, that was the person I can describe as selfless. And that made me fall in love with him every day, more and more. And then we had our first child 2 years into our marriage. Nothing changed. He was still the same. That guy used to help me with every chore in the house. His family, they even said, they even thought I gave him a love potion. Because he would wash the dishes, he would help me iron, he would help me clean the house. He used to work shifts, and because I am a teacher by profession, my day duty every day is from the morning till the afternoon. If he was on a night shift, I swear I would find the house spotless. Before he slept, he made sure as soon as he gets home, he cleans the house. It would be spotless. Then he takes a bed and sleep. That was the man I was married to. You know, sometimes I would pinch myself, like for real, pinch myself and ask myself, is this real? Am I real? Am I living with this guy? Sometimes I would wake up at night and look at him. Is this my husband? What did I do to deserve such a husband? Because really he was that good. He was that good that I would feel like I'm a lucky woman. Okay, we had our first child. He was there for me during the pregnancy time. Even after pregnancy, look, he jumped. If I said, I crave this, he jumped with no doubt to make sure that I get whatever I crave. If I craved fish, I remember one day I craved fish, and with my first pregnancy, fish at night, and I think it was around 8 p.m. We had to drive about 30 kilometers, try and get the fish. We would get here, and I would say, no, this is not a fish that I want. I wanted a certain kind of fish. You know, that township fish that comes out with hot chips. You know, the one that goes with slap chips. That kind of fish. That's the fish that I wish to have. But all the shops were closed by then. Fine, but the effort, he would make that effort. Even if we don't find it, he would make an effort. Fine. So I gave birth. He is there. Okay, we even got the first pregnancy was a miscarriage. Fine. The second pregnancy was exactly the same. He treated me just the same. Fine. And then, okay, we had hiccups there and there, but I think the cracks started to show after our 10th year of marriage. By that time, we already had 3 children. Then the cracks started showing. He became reserved, not talking, and so on and so on. Fine. Now, there starts the trouble that I choose not to call it trouble, that I choose to now call it denial, because I feel like it was denial. When our first daughter was 3, she once told me that, Mama, Papa unkoptetse ka mo. She was pointing between her thighs. And I got shocked. And I decided, no. I got shocked. And I decided, because he wasn't there, he was at work on a 2:10 shift. He was going to knock off at 10 p.m. I decided, and it was around 8 when the child told me this, that I'm going to take the child to Midval Hospital. For those who are in the Val, they would know Midval Hospital. We took the child there. They checked the child. I'm cutting a lot of things that maybe later I can talk more about. But for now, for the sake of this story time, I'll just cut a lot of to avoid a long story. And then they checked the child, and then the doctor said, no, the child does not have anything. There's no penetration. But there was a wet discharge. The police were there. I'll talk another day. I'll tell you why the police were there. They came with a rape kit. The doctor took the sample swab. It was put in the rape kit. The police wanted me to open a case. I refused. Me. I refused. Mogele said, no, not my husband. My husband is a spiritual man. My husband is a man of God. My husband fears God. My husband loves his family. He loves me. He loves my child. This is his child. There's just no way he can do that. So I'm not going to open a case against my husband. You were there. The doctor did tell us in your presence that there's no penetration on my daughter. So please leave me alone. They begged and begged, and I said, forget. Okay, fine. And when my child was 11, then the denial, I was forced to, because I did find evidence by then that proved to me beyond any reasonable doubt that definitely this man was now molesting our daughter, raping our daughter repeatedly. And this is nothing that I'm proud of. I'm definitely not proud of that. And the denial ended up right there. That is what drove me to write a book. The book is more detailed. Part of the reasons why I'm not gonna give you lots and lots of details into the videos is because I wrote the book. The book is called Denial of a Married Woman. The book is out. Those who are interested in the book, you'll comment in the comment section, and we'll arrange and talk about how can we get hold of that book. So now, why did I leave the Jehovah's Witness? That's the part. Now, upon realizing that my child has been violated, definitely now I involved the police. This time I'm the one begging to open a case now, and it was difficult. I won't lie, it was very difficult. If you read the book, you'll get details as to how difficult it was to get justice now. I even regret denying or refusing to open a case when the child was 3, because it could have made things easier when the child was 11. It could have backed up. That other case could have backed up the one that we have now. Fine. So we went through that, and then he calls the elders. By the way, in Jehovah's Witness congregations, there are levels of people. There are people who are either children of Jehovah's Witnesses. Ne? They are unbaptized children of Jehovah's Witnesses. And then there are people who are maybe still reading the books and studying to be Jehovah's Witnesses, but they are unbaptized. They are called non-baptized people. Or if they have started going house to house telling people about the good news of the Bible, now they are called unbaptized publishers. And then there are us, people who are going house to house, who are baptized. Then we are called publishers. We are baptized publishers. And then there are baptized publishers who are doing this work every day, not like us. As we've got maybe secular job. Secular job is the job, like as I am a teacher, and I only go to tell people about the good news maybe on Sunday or when schools are closed. Then I am called a baptized publisher. But there are people who are doing this every day, whether it's in the evenings, whether it's during the day, whether it's weekends. They are doing this. They are called pioneers. And then there are men in the congregations. They are called, there are publishers, there are non-publishers, and there are non-baptized publishers, and then there are pioneers. Even men can be pioneers. But there are a group of people who are men, and they are called ministerial servants. Ministerial servants, they are like, what in other churches they call junior pastors. That's what they do, because they do many jobs that elders are doing, but they are not responsible for the congregation, but they are given tasks, they are allocated tasks that are much similar to elders. And then there are elders. So on top is the elders. The elders in normal churches, they will be called pastors or ministers. Yes, so it's elders, and then it's ministerial servants, publishers, and so on. So my ex-husband was a ministerial servant. Several times he had been asked to be to consider being promoted to an elder. He refused. I remember about 3 times that he refused to be promoted to be an elder, and I would ask him his reasons. They never made sense. But I think it was God in action. And between you and me, I never wanted to be an elder's wife, because really I felt like being an elder's wife was just a duty. It's like being a pastor's wife. Yes, already being a ministerial servant's wife was a duty, because there is a certain way in which you have to conduct yourself, in which you dress, in which everything that you do, it has to be done in a certain particular way, and everybody in the congregation is looking up to you. You've got to set an example, and so on and so on and so on. So, and now worst part, if you are an elder's wife, you cannot even tell people about your problems. I mean, this man of yours is a pastor. We expect him to be doing what he preaches on the stage. So should we ever hear that he's not doing that, as publishers and everybody else, we're gonna look at you like. So what I've noticed, and what drove me to wish not to be an elder's wife was that now should I have problems in my marriage, I won't be able to talk about them. I'll have to suppress the problems that I have because I cannot tell anyone. And guys, I'm talkative. I've always been talkative. And I would have just ended up making his life miserable because I was gonna tell him. I can ask for some I was not gonna keep quiet. Okay, fine. Let's pass that. Now he goes to the elders and tells them that there is this case. He's accused of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The very elders that he brought, amazingly, they remember the 3-year-old story, which I did not tell them. He told them himself. 8 years down the line, they remember that. Now I'm asking, oh, he did tell you that? Something that I chose not to tell you. He told you that, and what did you do about it? They said he asked them not to ask me. I must wait for, they must wait for me to come and report to them. Only then can they attend to that. I'm like, so if as elders, a person comes and tells you that my wife accuses me of molesting our daughter, because that's what he said to them. He said, I accused him of sexually molesting our daughter. When he told them, he didn't say what I've told him, that the child said, and then I had her checked, but the doctor said she was not penetrated, and I'm sorry for going through to the hospital without telling you. I was apologizing. It was more of me apologizing by then. No. When he goes to the elders, he doesn't say that. When he goes to the elders, he tells them that I said he is sexually molesting our daughter. And please, they must keep quiet until such time that I approach them. Did I approach them? No, I didn't, because at that time, like I said, I had my denial. As you see, my t-shirt is called denial. I had my denial that no, this did not happen. No. Even though I had a question at the back of my mind asking myself, why would a child, 3-year-old, say something so huge about the father, the only father that he knew? But then, yeah, I chose to believe him over my daughter. It's fine. Then he runs and tells them, he plays them, let me go and report first. So that should I ever go and tell them that he's already the first one to have reported, and he knows how us as human beings are. Most of the time, we take the word of the person that comes first. Now, I didn't go to them for 8 years. How does it look to them? Like I am not okay. It was 8 years back. He reported. Now, 8 years down the line, he's the one that's reporting again. And I'm reporting now after already reporting to the police, because I know I'm not even reporting. They came and asked me. By that time, I had already involved the police. And he is the one now that's calling them. So for the second time, first time he's the one that came, second time he's the one that came. So who's the bad person here? Must be me. Fine, I was told I was not supposed to have gone to the police. I was supposed to have come to them first. Yes, in 2012. That was their stance at that time. I heard recently that a lot has changed, but here's my problem. I got the raw end of the deal at the time. I did not get any support. They were not even prepared to go and testify in court because there were things that they could have said in the court that could have helped the court decide that this man did this. Because they could see, even though he never admitted even to them, but they could see there were signs, like there was a lot of evidence that was building up to the fact that he was doing this. First of all, I won't reveal a lot about what the child said, how did it go, but I'm just coming to the point of this video that why did I leave the organization, Jehovah's Witness organization, is because at the time in 2012, I did not get the support, whether it was emotional, whether it was the kind of support they gave me was like insufficient for me. And it was a type of support that looked like support, but more also like a blame. Like they were blaming me for having overreacted. Why did I go to the police? I am putting the organization, the Jehovah's Witness organization, into a bad light. I'm putting the name into disrepute. And then West Part, they said I put the name of Jehovah into disrepute. That's what I was told in 2012. They may have changed their stance right now, because I heard right now that now they are changing a lot, because there are so many cases in Jehovah's Witnesses. And guess what? As time went by, I also discovered that all the times I woke up with semen, every woman knows their semen, the semen of their husbands. I would wake up with semen. You know, it would be sticky and everything, and I would ask myself, I don't remember us being intimate last night. And he would just tell me that I'm being forgetful, I need to get a psychologist, not. All the times that I woke up with a feeling that I had rough sex, it would be painful. My vagina would be very painful, feeling like there was, you know, sometimes it was like there was a hot iron that was put in. That's how painful it would be. It's like I had sex with someone roughly and I was not ready for it. And the feeling I had, it was a feeling that told me that something happened to me. And I don't remember being intimate with him. And I would ask him, he would tell me the same. I really do need a psychologist. And by the time I say all these things, no one cared. No one cared. All those elders, I told them about these things, they did not care. And I tried, really, I don't want to lie, I tried after 2012 to attend the meetings, but it hurt me. First of all, it was hurting to be seeing him there, even though he had moved out. Immediately when these things surfaced, he just moved out of the house, out of the home. But he was zealous, still zealous, attending the meetings, all the meetings, he would be there. It hurt me so bad seeing him. And then later I tried to change the congregation to another congregation about 5 kilometers away in another township, trying to not see him. And then when I got there, I would also get you know, there would be brothers who are standing there instead of like, okay, you know, maybe it was in my mind that a person is having a talk, but in that talk, we can tell that now they're talking about you. If a person is going to tell you that, is going to say in front of the congregation that some, instead of fixing their problems, they decide to change congregations. Who are they talking about? Because I'm that person, instead of fixing problems with my husband, I decided to change congregations. So I felt like, oh, this is directed to me. That's when I decided, okay, I'll just go and stay home. And let me tell you something. For the first time, I felt peace. It's strange, the feeling I got after deciding that I'm no longer gonna go there. The peace, I don't know where that peace comes from, but I found peace. I found peace for the first time in my life, and I didn't know I was missing that. I felt freedom, freedom from a lot of things, freedom from not reaching certain number of hours of going house to house, freedom of starting to do first things for the first time. A lot of things, I did them for the first time. I had my first alcohol drink after that. And remember, now I'm slipping into depression. Even though I felt so free, but depression kicked in because what I've been through, realizing that this man did not just sexually molest our daughter, raping her repeatedly, he also raped me as the wife. And I tried to figure out, when did I ever deny him sex? Like, I think even if he can be asked now, he would never say, there was a time when I refused to have sex with him. Because really, I didn't even have a problem of libido or anything. So why would he want to have sex with me while I'm asleep, while I'm not awake? What is it that he was doing to me in my sleep while I'm asleep? What is it that needed me to be asleep before he can have sex with me? If he had certain desires, wasn't it his responsibility to tell me that, you know, I have this fantasy, can't we try this and this, instead of making me sleep, making the child sleep, having sex with the child, having sex with me as well? Because there was a time that I remember that I was sleeping there, and it looked like when I woke up there was a stain next to me. I don't remember, there was a stain, but more on his side, and on my side I woke up with semen. So when I did not realize at that time, but after all this, only then I realized that it could have been possible that this person was taking the child outside and having sex with both of us. As disgusting as it is, it was very possible. On the same bed, he could be having sex with me and I at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. Up until now, I don't know. Because really, there's things that we would wake up and they are still wet in the morning. Guys, the many times I would wake up in the middle of the night and find that he's not in the bed. And we had a ensuite bathroom, but he's not even in there. But I could not drag myself and go look. Like, I felt so dizzy. I could not even get out of bed so many times. And this one time when I felt like I was seeing him doing the deed to the child, but I fell and woke up believing it's a dream. Yeah. As drastic as it is, as crazy as it is, as unbelievable as it is, it did happen. And I convinced myself that it was a dream. I kept quiet about it, didn't tell anyone about it. By the time I wanted to tell, by the time I was ready, By the time I was over my denial, it was too late, far too late. No one wanted to believe me. Even the congregation didn't want to believe me. Very few people, I can count 4 people in the congregation that believed me and stood up with me. Out of a congregation of close to 200 people, I was gossiped about. They said all these things. Some of them kept me far away as if I'm being disfellowshipped. Disfellowshipped is when it's like shunning. It's when you maybe you have done something, like maybe you have done adultery or fornication, or let's say you have cheated on your husband, then you are cut off from the congregation for a period of time so that you repent. That is called disfellowshipping or shunning. Some of the congregants treated me that way in 2012. That is why I decided, okay, it's fine. I'll stay at home. I'll just focus on my children. I also chose that my children are never gonna grow up like me with less freedom. I allow my children to enjoy their birthdays. I allow my children to have friends who are not witnesses. We were not allowed to have friends who are not witnesses. We were supposed to have friends who are witnesses. And should any of them fall into a trap of having friends that are not witnesses, you'd be told to cut off your friendship. No matter how much you love that friend, you had to cut off the friend, because now the friend is said to have bad habits that will rub off on you. So I'm letting my children have as much freedom as they could. I'm not perfect, and everything that I'm saying here is the truth. God knows it's the truth. And I'm not bashing anyone. That man I loved so much with everything that I had. He gave me 3 beautiful babies, and I'll forever be thankful to him for that, even though he destroyed us. He destroyed us as a family, but it's fine. It is fine. At least the good that came out of that is that my children get to be children. And I decided my children, when they are adults, they will choose the religion of their own. This thing of us forcing children to belong to our churches, to belong to our religious denominations, that's not it. And life is so much easier to me without any religious denomination. I don't want to lie. I don't miss any church. I don't miss any Christianity. I don't miss any kind of religious denomination. Thank you so much for today's story time. So that's how I stopped being a Jehovah's Witness. I don't even have any intentions of going back there. I've got nothing against Jehovah's Witnesses. I still love them because my mother is still one. My brother is still one. I have got relatives who are still witnesses. I still have got some friends who are still Jehovah's Witnesses. I love Jehovah's Witnesses as human beings, but I decided no, I'm not going to be one anymore. I'm not even going to force my children to be. So thank you so much for your data, watching this story time, and please share this story because it may help someone or may not help someone. Leave the comments in the comment section, and please share, subscribe, and don't forget to set the notification bell, because there'll be a lot of story time that I'll make about my life in G that has put me in a path that made me passionate about gender-based violence and femicide and also the mental health. So in the next video, I'll talk more about how I was affected and how my child was affected by what happened to us. Thank you so much. Thank you for spending your data here. See you next time. Bye. I love you guys.